What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Stirfry. It's your boy, Chef T.
I'm with a Spacekid.
And our special guest today is Justin Cooper.
What's going on,
Yo, what's up, man?
What is up, man?
What's up?
Oh my gosh, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Yeah. Doing good, can't complain.
Yeah,
it
was a solid day.
Solid
Got
day.
a lot of work done, but
yeah.
it's a lot of hard work.
I know, but there's a little recovery after this weekend's Browns game.
Bro, I mean, I'm a Colts fan.
Oh,
so,
wow, that's surprising.
You know, I'm recovering from both. So, because they lost to the Jaguars, 27-20. That's the team that's tanking. We lost it, but I don't want to get into it.
Did you win in fantasy?
I did win. Oh,
Me too.
I split.
Okay.
I crushed.
Did you?
175 points.
No, if you get up to, my goal is to hit 200 at least once. Have you ever hit 200? 200 points?
No. I think I have like a couple years ago.
That's the epitome of excellence right there.
Yeah.
You play fantasy?
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just it was a good week fantasy wise, but after all the games were ended, I had the satisfaction of seeing like 5 of my guys were injured. So
Damn.
So that was a cool surprise. So
That's fantasy. Rough. I'm more so just like I'll bet on basketball games. Yeah.
I want to get into sports betting a lot more, man.
But I don't know,
That
fantasy.
sounds dangerous, right? Yeah.
Fantasy, especially with my football. Football is different every year. Like,
oh yeah.
Like for some reason, somebody just randomly becomes like a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like basketball. Granted, basketball is different, but it's only like so different. Football, somebody will blossom. Like literally, like dude, he wasn't even last year. Man. Like what?
Totally agree. I mean, you hit the nail right in the head, man. It's if I were to go to Vegas, like if I were to live in Vegas, I'd put all my money down on basketball games because they're much easier to kind of predict, and you're gonna see who's at the top.
Yeah.
Before the season starts, and there's gonna be some like surprise teams.
Yeah, so I say like basketball, you can nail it down to usually like 5 teams to win the championship. Exactly. But football, literally, when I say you don't know, like.
You really don't know.
Well, because I think that games are unpredictable, right? Because it's like, it's easier to like overcome something in football. Like the underdogs can win because they get that pass or they get that fumble. In any sport there's mistakes people can make.
Right.
But like football, there's such a big field. There's not that many people that take up the whole field, so like people make mistakes. It's a lot easier to get injured. So that happens all the time. But anyways, so you are the host of The Hypothetical, which is a part of your brand JCSports, right? Which you do articles, all that types of stuff. So why sports? Why did you want to go into like the sport realm?
Obviously growing up playing sports, it was a huge passion of mine. But it was just always something that I knew like that I wanted to do. I didn't know exactly what path I was going to take towards to get to that. At the very beginning, I was not a writer. I wasn't so much of a creator. I kind of sat back and kind of had to, wait my turn, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, at the beginning, it was kind of like, what is my passion? I don't want to be in a cubicle. I don't want to be, somewhere where I'm put into a box. And that, for me, it was, all right, let's get moving. I love playing sports. I've had a passion for this, and I just love what sports represent, man. You can find the unity and the teamwork in every sport, people coming together for a common good. It's just something that's always been something that I want the world around me to look like.
Yeah.
And I think sports is, without even having to say it, sports accomplishes that. So it was my passion to get back into that realm, even if I wasn't playing sports. And I fell in love with writing for sports, and I fell in love with creating content for my podcast. So that's how I'm here, man.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you always had that. What was your first sport and your main sport you played?
I played baseball. My family were avid baseball. Was an avid baseball family. My oldest brother played D1 at Cleveland State, and my grandpa and my dad were huge baseball fans. So that was probably my first love. I started.
We did play together.
Yeah, we did play together. Me and Ty actually did play together once upon a time, man. Yeah, back in the day with Ty. But yeah, it was. I met some of my best friends playing that. So I mean, obviously playing with you, like even if it was just a short time, it was something that was really cool. Like I still everyone that I played baseball with, I still have somewhat of a connection to. So I'm thankful for that. So that was probably one of the main reasons why I fell in love with baseball was because I'm a very competitive guy, and going into it with people that I loved and people that I liked meeting, it was just a really cool thing to come together as a team and accomplish a common goal.
Yeah, families need. I think every kid should join a sport.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
Absolutely.
100%. Because it's like even if your kid's not athletic or you don't like sports, it's just so beneficial just in social aspect, mentally, and over time that person will grow and understand how to work together in like a work environment too. It stems from exposing them early. A large group of people, and I mean the idea of competition is very important.
Oh yeah.
That's why I don't really agree with all these participation shit.
Oh no.
Because what is that at teaching like a young child? What's the drive? If everyone wins, then what's the drive? No, like the real world doesn't work like that. People with a lot of money, the people that are at the top of these businesses, worked hard.
Yeah.
They grinded to get there, and they had to beat other people. Like, that's how it is.
It's just another parable. That's what I said at the beginning. It's just another parable for life.
Yeah.
And you got to learn to live life at some point. Yeah. You can't be babied. You can't be, telling your kid he's the best all the time. That was one of the favorite things that one of my high school coaches told me when I was playing basketball was every parent thinks their kid's a superstar. And that's where your biggest fight's going to be, because every parent thinks that, and then their kids are going to start believing it. So if you start believing it, then you start getting complacent, then you start getting selfish, then it starts becoming all about you. So you're really shifting an entire culture by the way, you're kind of overselling your kid to a point, or not making them work as hard as they should, because they already think that it's all going to be handed to them. When in reality, once you get to the real world, and you both know, it's not going to work like that. So,
yeah, when I was a kid, I mean, I wasn't the best sports player. I always played sports my whole life, but I was never the best at anything.
Right.
But my parents were never like, "Oh my God, you're the best." Mm-hmm. They were like, "Well, you don't like being bad? We'll get better."
Yeah.
And that's what
they would support you. I'm sure they would support you. But it wasn't going to be like, we're going to say you're the best, and you got to walk up and, demand more touches in football, or demand. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of, kids play into that nowadays, and it's a shame. So.
And on the flip side of that, these parents that are too strict fuck their kids up.
Oh, yeah.
Like their kid is good, but like mentally he's fucked.
Right.
I've had friends that their dad is like, "Oh no, you're waking up at 5 a.m. doing push-ups, running," which a little push is good to say you should do something, but ultimately forcing kids to do something they don't want to do is
that motivation's got to come from themselves at some point. You know what I mean? You can't be there every step of the way. They got to learn how to work on their own. That's my dad always pushed me. I was very grateful for him for that, and he would yell at me when I needed to get yelled at, which a lot of constructive criticism for him, but it was good, because at the end of the day, he told me when I needed to get stuff done, I got stuff done on my own, and he wasn't there watching me. He was never going to set up clinics for me. That was something that I had to do on my own.
Yeah.
So, that was something I was grateful for with him, at least playing ball. So.
Yeah, and I know you have a big family. Mm-hmm. And do you think that, having an older brother that played for CSU was a lot of pressure on you? Like, so you're like, I want to get better. I'm already competitive.
Oh, yeah. I was always looking at him, and
even your sister was good at baseball. So
relax. We joke around with her all the time about that. But yeah, no, I mean, me and my brother still to this day, we fight about batting average, who's a better hitter and stuff like that. It's just the competitiveness that we have inside of us. But I was always looking over my shoulder at him. And it wasn't so much jealousy. It was kind of like, I know my brother's really
What's
good.
What's the age difference? So I need to kind of picture this better.
He's about to be 30.
Okay.
Coming up here soon. And I'm 23.
Gotcha. Okay.
So he
7 years. So was established.
Yeah, he was established, and he was good. He was a lefty, very humble guy. I mean, that's one thing I did learn from him. He sometimes let his emotions get the best of him on the mound, but I'm gonna tell you, when you're a pitcher, it's kind of like you have to have a certain mentality, and he had it. Like, it was kind of like you have to have a swagger about you, because there's, I mean, a dime a dozen like you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of people that are like you at our southpaws that are looking to get their start too. So you got to really buckle down. How good are you under pressure? So I was always, to answer your question, I was always looking at my shoulder at him. But at the same time, I realized that we were both in different positions. I was more jealous of where he was at because that was my dream. My dream was to be on a baseball field. Unfortunately, for various reasons, that didn't get to work out as well as I planned, but, you know, it kind of led me to where I am, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so when because that is a bit of a gap. So when he was playing for the college, was he also, like, living at home with you guys?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, but did you feel like you kind of had to, like, start making your own decisions, maybe just because he didn't have enough time to, like, literally say, like, babysit you? Like, you know, at first it's kind of like, oh yeah, you're my little brother.
Yeah.
Or, this is how I would pitch. This is how I would do X, Y, Z.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just thinking, somebody playing for a college baseball team. I mean, managing college is hard enough on his own.
Right.
He doesn't have enough time to show up to all of your practices and everything anymore.
Right. So one thing my brothers were really good about was, you know, kind of, you know, letting me do my own thing at times. They would give me advice when I needed advice. But at the very same time, they were good with standing back and letting me do my own thing. So it was never really, you know, he's coaching me at every moment. That kind of came on my dad's side of things.
Gotcha.
He kind of taught us all. So yeah, no, it wasn't really like that. My brother had, you know, very knowledgeable even to this day about baseball, obviously.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, he was always there when I needed him, even throughout his college career, but he was never really like.
So basically, it wasn't never really that bad because you still had your dad, like right there to help and motivate you. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, God, I forgot what I was saying.
Oh man, it happens.
It happens all the time, man.
No, but so did you get any offers when you were in high school pursuing college, like any college offers?
Yeah, so during my senior year, you know, I got a few offers. I talked to a few colleges. You know, it really, for me, it kind of boiled down to, you know, it was kind of like D3, D2 schools. It wasn't anything that I was expecting, but at the same time, I kind of made the subconscious effort not to put myself in the right positions. And that kind of boiled down to like what I was going through at the time, making my transition.
Gotcha.
So unfortunately, that was one of the things that I kind of ditched my dream in that moment, because that was my dream. And it's still like, it pains me till today, but it doesn't, you know, it was a really tough time, and it still is tough for me to overcome, but it was one of those things where I had to realize, like, you know, this is happening for a reason. As much as this was your plan the entire time, like, it's not going to happen that way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it sucked. It was just one of those things. I got some offers. I know that how, you know, I'm not a cocky person, but I know how good I was. And I know I could have made myself into something, but unfortunately, I was my own worst enemy in that way. And, you know, not some personal issues that happened that just, you know, didn't allow me to do that.
I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, and I truly believe that. And, you know, because maybe life guides you in that direction, in like this direction, because you, like, let's be realistic. I mean, I mean, yes, you were really good, but and I'm all about positivity and optimism, and you can achieve any dream. But, you know, if you even had that in the back of your head that maybe I can't do this, then maybe it wasn't right.
Right.
You know, to go to the MLB and.
Yeah, it was so much. It was more so like my dream was to play college baseball, and from whatever happened after that happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was never like, you know, a dream set into it where, you know, I was going to the MLB. Obviously, when I was younger, everyone wants to be in the MLB or the NBA and stuff like that. At some point, you got to realize the work you need to put into it. And I just realized that, you know, it was always kind of in the back of my mind. Yeah. Like, my struggles were kind of holding me back a certain extent and were just not letting myself push me to that point where I know I could have gone. Yeah. So that was probably the most frustrating part. Not that, like, I thought I was going to be this all-world MLB, you know, player, because, you know, that's 1 in a million. But I do think I could have done more with my baseball career than I actually ended up doing. So that's something that still eats at me a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, you had a good point, though. It's really determined on the person. Mm-hmm. And, like, sometimes you have to look in the mirror and, like, really say to yourself, do I want to put in the max effort? Do I want to sacrifice having like a really experience in college and having a normal college life,
right,
and pursuing a sport? You know, and especially when you get to the D3, D2s, I know a lot of people that went and played sports for those, and it's like, if you in your head don't have the mentality like, well, I'm going to take this opportunity, I'm going to go full force, I'm going hard as I can, I'm going to make my dream happen, then, like, to me, it just seems like a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know, because is a degree valuable? You know, at that point, then you got to think about the degree. You know, are you sacrificing a better degree just so you can play football or baseball? You know, what's the best move?
Yeah.
And I think it has to do with self-awareness. You know, it's like really looking at your skill level and being like, I can do this, you know? You know, I don't think I can go on a set and direct like Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, yeah, I definitely get it.
Yeah.
So.
You know, but like, it maybe if I directed every day.
Right.
You know, and did nothing but direct.
I think about that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, if you put it together every day, you know, because obviously, you know, even if you work every day.
Yeah.
If your God-given talent's not there, you can work and you can put yourself to the extreme of your own ability. But is that going to stack up to the people aside you that are working to their very peak strength? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and plus maybe their natural talents a little, you know.
So I think that the disappointment is not disappointment, but regret, where the regret fits in for everyone is, you know, did I do that? Because if you're at the end of the day, if like you see a lot of these NBA, NFL players, like, you don't understand it when you're younger, but they're at the end of their career, they're like, I gave it my very best. This is what I had to offer. This is what I did.
Yeah.
But they're content with that. They're happy with that. So for someone that didn't do that and didn't make those steps, say you wanted to be the next Steven Spielberg, say you want, right, you know what I mean. But you know what I mean. But you know what I mean. Like, and you worked as absolutely hard, but you just realized, you know, it just wasn't there. It wasn't in the cards. Then at least you can sleep at night knowing that, hey, you know, this just wasn't there for me. So I think it's just kind of that collective balance, I guess.
Yeah, that is a real balance between putting in the work and being satisfied with the work you put in after. You know, and I think everyone deals with this. It's like, we could always do more, you know? And that's the tough spot, is like, how do I know I put in my all?
Yeah.
And then you have a little bit of regret. But it is better once something happens, decision is made, to be like, this was it.
Yep.
You know, and then just forget about it and move on and use your energy for something else.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what people really need to kind of understand, whatever they do. Right. I mean, because it goes into anything. You know, like, for instance, an example for me is, like, I went into marketing my first 2 years of college. I could have a totally different career. Mm-hmm. But you know what I said? I said, fuck it, I'm just going to jump into film. You know, and I mean, I maybe maybe there's some other people that were my fraternity brothers that are doing business and they're doing fucking very well for themselves.
Right.
You know?
But you wouldn't have been happy doing it.
Yeah, but I was like, you know what? I mean, I'd rather give my all to something that I care about. And I just made the decision. After that, I never looked back, and I said, I'm going to jump all in, and I'm going to find a job. I'm going to...
Highly respect that. Highly respect that.
Yeah, I mean, even what you do now. So, like, you majored and went to Kent, majored in communications, right? When your main focus was more of, like, a journalistic...
Yeah, so it was applied communication. So it was, like, journalism, design, communications, and it was all three.
Well, design in what way?
I would... Designing, I would work with the Adobe Creative Cloud.
I got you.
Yeah, so I'd be like,
like Illustrator,
yeah, like Audition. Okay, so I actually had that.
Kind of like his major. He was like,
really?
Media production.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I learned all those. But I mean, what I got from them is a little different. Like, if you were asking me to make something on Illustrator, I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, I completely understand.
Illustrator is so, like...
It's tough, yeah.
To me.
Photoshop is more my level.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even with, like, my major, I mean, that was a class, but... My main focus specifically was like advertising.
Okay.
Like advertising and promotions.
Mm-hmm.
So why communications though? Like you're going there. What's the main goal out of communications that you want?
So it was kind of expanding my options a little bit. So I went in for journalism and then I realized, coming out the gate, there's not going to be opportunities for me to get my foot in the door in every journalism, every newspaper, every news source around me. And I wanted to start near me. So I expanded it to applied communications because it gets like a focus on business communications, and it actually helped me in realms of, getting my dream internship and things of that nature. But it was just kind of expand my options a little bit, kind of get my foot in the door somewhere. So that's kind of why I ended up going that route instead of just strictly journalism, because journalism is you can be doing a variety of news. You can be doing, I wanted to focus on sports.
You don't want to put yourself in a box.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's smart though, because then you have options. And I mean, to a job, wouldn't you rather have somebody that knows how to do everything?
It was funny you say that because I talked to someone and I worked for their company for a little bit, and it was doing manual labor, but they were a startup, so they were getting a bunch of kids out of school. They were at career fairs and stuff, and they were asking me what my major was, and they had been to a few career fairs and they had heard about my degree at Kent, and they were like, honestly, if I were a kid nowadays, I told them, I was like, that would probably be one of the only degrees that'd be worth something to me, because you're just well versed in 4 different disciplines. Right.
Yeah, because say you have a full-time gig, and and usually just you're hired in, you're just writing articles on the webpage, right? And then they're like, oh man, fucking Jim didn't show up today. We need this video done. Oh shit, bingo, you're right there.
Multi-tool, man.
Yeah, but that's so much more value, and some people think that having one specific route is the way to go. Mm-hmm. And, like, yeah, you should... I mean, everyone has a master in something, their main thing that they're good at.
Yeah.
But like, it's better to have different options and be more versatile than be only one person. Like, that journalism major or journalist major is... What are they doing? They only can write stories, They don't know how to work a camera. And that's a lot of people, like, at my job, I see that are successful. They were MMJs back in the day, which is, like, I don't know what the acronym is, but they used to film their own stuff and edit their own stuff and do their own interviews. Like, they were a whole one-person package. But then they morphed into, like, anchors, And they got up the ladder so fast because of they were able to go and do everything. Whether it's one person had to...
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
That'd be a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, because some journalists, like, man, they need a videographer. They don't know what to do. Like, oh, man, I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
I'm, like, stuck. And the 2 people have to go. They have to pay double for that person when they could just pay one person a single amount. Yeah. Business. You got to think about the money, man.
Exactly. Yeah. You got to think about the money, like, at the start, I guess. I mean, like...
Not even the money that you get paid, but, like, the money that your value.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So...
Okay, so you went to camp for applied communications, not communications. I know you see.
You throw the apply, yeah.
I know, yeah. I was like, is there a difference?
No. There's a difference.
Are you kidding me? Do you see the
Are you kidding me?
communication?
Come on. Did you do your research before this podcast? Come on.
I just picture like you're like, no, we're the applied communications.
No,
those are
just the communications.
And they're like
they're just like they're like, oh my gosh,
bunch of dorky ass kids. But okay, so you did that, and then you landed probably what I'd like to say is your dream internship. A lot of kids' dream internship.
Yeah.
At ESPN.
Yeah.
How did that happen? How did that occur?
It was surreal, man. It was kind of like I was applying for internships because obviously, as you know, every college kid, they say you need an internship. So it was just something that I saw, and for the longest time going into like sports journalism, I was looking at like ESPN Cleveland has a branch. And I was like, ESPN has a branch in Cleveland. I was like, so I went on, I think it was Glassdoor or something like that. My buddy, a good friend and graphic designer of my brand, Travis McKay, he really the GOAT. Yeah, he really helped me kind of round out my resume to make it look, pleasing. And then he was making my brand at that point, so I kind of rebranded my entire resume.
Yeah.
So that got me in the door, and then I got a phone interview with them. And it was a real casual phone interview where I was wearing like a suit on the top and then shorts on the bottom. And like, I hope they don't ask me to stand up because I'm not prepared. But then they called me in for a second interview. It was live. And it was just one of those things that I walked in the building and immediately I was like, I think I made the right choice in my career. Like, I loved everything about it. And I walked in that interview and I was nervous at first. And immediately as I sat down, I was like, you know what? I just got to be who I need to be, which is myself. And because I love sports and I knew what my potential was in this industry. So I just laid it all out there. And, the first interview didn't go well, but the second interview went about as well as it could go. So I got, and I shit you not, I walked through the parking garage and I did like one of those Breakfast Clubs like moments where I was like this, and I was screamed and shit. I was just like so pumped because I just look back at like my journey through it and like how I got to that point.
Yeah.
And how tough it actually was, and a lot of people didn't see it. How tough it really was for me to get into that position. So,
dude, everybody wants that position.
Yeah.
Everyone wants it, especially that internship, ESPN. That's people's dream.
Yep.
Yes.
So it was surreal. I didn't think, for, being where I was a few years ago to where I was at that moment, it was just kind of like it all kind of hit me at once. And from there, it was just, I wanted to work there every day that I could. I just wanted to take any shift that I could, even though I wasn't getting paid. I just wanted to be there. I wanted to be around. I mean, I can go on and on about stories from there, man. Like, it was, in the short time that I had, it was just, an amazing experience for me. And definitely wasn't anything that I took for granted right from the jump I was working. So very appreciative to everyone on the team at ESPN Cleveland for welcoming me in as an intern and giving me the experience that I needed, man. It was dope.
Yeah, I think it's even cool I didn't even know they had an ESPN branch here.
I know.
Yeah, and it's cool that, you got to work in your hometown. Most people with that kind of gig, they would probably have to leave.
Exactly. Yeah. That was my dream, was working in my territory. This is my territory, and I wanted that, so.
Yeah, that's big.
That seems crazy to even apply. I mean, it's in Cleveland, but I'm just thinking like competition probably was like crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm just picturing like all types of people. Yeah.
I didn't know if I was gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like,
was there like people lined up? Like, I know they do that to intimidate you sometimes. Like, they'll have people lined up in the lobby like applying for the same job. Which I think it's fucked up.
It was just me. And I showed up like an hour early. Just Respect. To like to show like I was serious about it, but like I didn't know, like, because you're young, you're in college, you haven't done this stuff before, so you want to feel as professional as possible. So I got I didn't have a suit at that time. I went and got my suit like fitted, and I got my good buddy Joey.
You probably feeling good.
Yeah, I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. I actually met. Funny story. I met the chef from Mr. Heroes. You know they have like an overall like head chef who makes all the stuff at Mr. Heroes. So he was in the studio doing like advertisements, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm just interviewing for a spot." He's like, "Oh, I'm the chef at Mr. Heroes." I was like, "You mean the Mr. Heroes down the street or something?" He was like, "No, like Mr. Heroes." And I was like,
"That's epic."
I was like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Yeah, I'll put in a good word for you." I was like, "My guy."
Oh, dude, what if he skewed it?
And maybe he did.
What if he's like, "Hey, my dude."
He's like, "My dude." He's Italian now. He's Italian now. Working at Mr. Heroes. Like, he's like, everyone who cooks.
My body.
Everyone who cooks is now Italian.
Yeah. No offense to Italian folks.
My mom's Italian. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
they're good. They're good with that. If you're telling them they're cooking,
Italian, yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. How did the first interview you said was a little shaky, and that was a video interview?
Yeah.
Right?
So it wasn't even like I was face to face with them. It was they were like automated questions, and then I would ask them and videotape them and send them in. It was weird.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's the worst thing possible.
No, it's weird. It's weird. You're just like staring at yourself in the camera.
Because it just tells you like well, I don't know how your experience was, but it's just like basically like the question literally just pulls up. Then you see like the little timer going down.
Yeah.
No
exactly.
way.
Yes.
That's fucking crazy.
The question pops up. You have no idea what the question is. Then a timer.
It's like a fucking test.
Yes.
Then a timer pops up.
You're like
terrible.
And you're just looking at
what
the
are my
screen.
strengths and weaknesses? You're like, oh, time's up.
If Jenny is stealing out of ESPN, what are you doing? I'm gonna
Hey, we got buzzers. We're like, wait a minute.
No, it's like X Factor where they hit the button.
They all turn around and shit.
God, I'm sorry. See, I do terrible at that. That's like I'm like a terrible timed person.
I hated it just because
How do people do that?
It's like so I hate when you just completely curveball the subject.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Mm-hmm.
literally like how I said, it could be some subject about employees stealing. Then it might go all into how have you showed initiative at your last 2 jobs? What?
Yeah.
Like dude,
exactly.
I'm still in this world.
Yeah.
Right.
Where a conversation you can kind of like, don't get me wrong, you get curved on a conversation,
but
you have like balance.
It's
like
a flow. It's a flow. You know what I mean?
Like you have, that's what you have. You have fillers.
Yeah.
So like, say you don't know the answer, you just be like, man, like you'd be like, yeah, outside was crazy, parking lot. But to answer your question, you don't have fillers in that. Like this is just like,
and they can go back and watch it and watch it and watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like on like a regular interview.
You're like, does this guy really fit the bill? They start laughing you on the monitors. They're like, hey, look at this kid who just interviewed.
They definitely There's definitely a thing. Maybe not you, but like I know that they had a bunch of interviews and some were terrible because people under pressure at time.
Yeah.
Probably. It was probably hilarious. They probably have a thing.
Yeah.
I bet they have a thing going on. Like, hey, look at this guy, and then they send email to everyone.
Yeah.
Like,
then they got the one other thing. They got the one thing. Did you have the one thing where like, say you do let the timer go out, you get one more chance? I feel like clicking
I don't remember exactly.
Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. I need you to answer this question for me.
Mom.
Because I feel like the one more chance, like nobody even wants to click on that. Like if you let that timer go down, it doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, if it's 30 seconds.
That's a test.
When the timer goes down, I don't think nobody wants to click on. Oh, let me retry. Well, I mean, they gave me one retry. I might as well.
I didn't like that answer.
Yeah, even though they have both of them, like damn well they can look at both of them.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
That's fucking fried. But like, I think why you got hired at the core though, and a lot of people don't understand this in interviews, is you were yourself probably, and you know what you know.
Yeah.
Like you can't. People could say they're really into sports, and they love watching sports, but this is ESPN we're talking. I feel like there's another like
It's the worldwide leader in sports.
Like you can go to like my job and pass off writing articles that you like. You like sports. You watch sports all the time.
Yeah.
But you may not have the overall knowledge of like an ESPN place.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of those kids, I'm imagining like some cocky ass kids going in there. They played sports and like, I'm Chad.
Like, I'm Chad. Yeah. It's like you're hired.
Yeah. You're like, my dad,
Yeah.
you know him? Yeah. No, I'm just saying like, at the core of every interview, people can tell who's a bullshitter and who's not a bullshitter.
That's what I try to do with every one of my interviews. Yeah. Is not try to bullshit.
I just try to be myself and different because I already know like I'm gonna go off on a spiel probably. I'm probably gonna be a long ass interview.
Exact same way.
So I'll go.
I'm probably doing longer takes than you expected when you're asking me questions. It's just how I am. I just talk a lot.
Yeah, but I think that it shows people that, I don't know, the most important thing in any work environment is you're able to communicate and have a conversation.
Right.
At the core
and
of it.
People want to be able to connect with you.
Yeah. And that's what the thing is, like, people, I think it's like the idea of like, who am I? Will they like me? But it should be like, how can I be personable? How can I show him my personality?
Right.
Who I am.
People overthink interviews.
Yeah.
So.
And then some people just have bad personalities.
Some people do.
But they're meant for a job. There's some
They're meant for a job that's different. Maybe a telemarketer job. I don't know.
Yeah. But you could get better. Like we told you earlier.
Yeah, you can get better.
You can get better, work hard enough, you get that job. All right. So I know we had this whole thing. We didn't even talk about the core of the concept, which is your podcast. And it's more than a podcast. It's kind of like overall, it's really a website. It's really a whole brand as a whole. So how did you start that? Why did you start that?
It's kind of funny how it happened. I always kind of had the idea of it, but it wasn't really set in stone. I'm gonna name drop my graphic designer, who's also my best friend, Travis K. One more time. Go. So. On the way home, I think he was coming home from spring break one time, and I had mentioned to him about making a site or something like that, something where I can create articles or something. And, on the fly, like on his way home from school, he created my logo, which is my main logo that you'll see now.
Yeah.
Okay. So he created that on the fly. He's like, dude, this is actually like one of the cleanest like logos that I've ever made. And he makes good work. Oh, yeah. So from that point on, he pushed me and I pushed him. Like he loves rebranding things, and especially because we're best friends, it was something that we were able to collaborate on. I had the content and everything. He had the design aspects. So right off the bat, we knew we had something like lightning in a bottle for us, so to speak, because we were kind of like yin yang. We're building off each other. And my internship helped immensely because they gave me the tools that they gave me, guidance on where I need to go with it. So I got a lot of, feedback right away. But how it happened was that just that initial design and that thing like, okay, this could really happen. I can really do this. Yeah. And from there, like he just kept gaining knowledge, and I did. And we just kind of kept piggybacking it, and I just got really into my content. And then I came up with the idea for my first show because I was kind of realizing, I was like, what am I going to do for this first show? Because I don't want to be a run-of-the-mill podcast.
Were you writing articles before that?
So I had initially, how it kind of like branched off was I had a passion for, Cleveland sports. And after the 2016 finals, and after LeBron left, I kind of wanted to show the overall growth of the city just from a sports team winning a title and the ripple effect that it had. So I always wanted to write that piece. It was my main feature piece that I had such a passion for. So for ESPN, they had me write an article like I was writing for the company. And I work closely with one of my supervisors, so to say, Cody Smith, on it. He helped me, kind of round it out, tell me what I needed to add, like stuff like that. And I made it into a full, he was like, honestly, at first my thing was like 1.5 pages. And he was like, honestly, make it longer. Make it a whole feature piece.
Yeah.
Give us a full story. Like, give us some facts. And I was like, dang, okay. So I went back and I went through it, and I was just like, wow, this creates such a good picture, and I just want people to see this. And then I told Trav, I was like, man, we got to get moving. Because at that point, I was had the studio to my availability. So I had a full like studio and things like that they were going to let me utilize because ESPN Cleveland's really good about that. And I was eager to get it going just to get my stuff out there, just get my thoughts out there. And honestly, from there, I kind of like fell in love with creating the content. And that first article is where it really jumped, I should say. It didn't start, but it jumped from there where it was like, I want to get this out. Like, I want to get my content out. And from there, we just kind of...
Yeah. I can say that's like definitely a hefty subject that people overlook because... So, I mean, not only did the Cavs one, I mean, the Lake Erie Monsters won too. Mm-hmm. So, I feel like the parade itself, what people might not take into consideration is how many people visited Cleveland. Like, just off the strength of like, LeBron won... I'm about to go visit Cleveland, which could then, make people say like, "Oh, you want to go back? I want to go back."
Cleveland's a very passionate city, as we know.
Thousands of people, literally, probably.
And you're talking about out of the state.
Yeah, I'm talking about thousands of people out of the state. You gave them a reason, like I'm about to come. That parade is going to be very good. And LeBron won. I just like LeBron. I don't even know nothing about Cleveland, but I'm going.
Yeah.
And I think those people would also want to like visit again because they actually like, your first time doing something, you kind of worry about it or you don't want to do it. But if somebody give you a reason, you might want to go back to it.
Yeah.
So I think that probably just like boosted the economy, like everything. Just overall, like, it's some type of success here. Everybody pay attention.
Exactly. And if you look, I mean, in my article, you'll see like it's uncanny. Like from that championship on to 2019 or 2020, whatever you want to call it, whatever that span was, is the sports teams in their areas started to get better. You saw the Indians.
Yeah,
that same year went to the World Series. I mean, obviously they came up a little short, but it's just they were playing off that energy because they wanted that title feeling that the Cavs got.
Yeah.
Then the Browns, I mean, obviously the Browns are the Browns, but it was where they were starting to make their kind of turnaround where they got Garrett, they got Baker. They were starting to turn around a little bit more where they got pieces that may not fit together well right now, but that's besides the point. Yeah. But you created that winning culture. I know we got the NBA All-Star game, the MLB All-Star game in that. The Republican,
I thought I was gonna see it. I was like,
exactly.
We're here. It's about to happen. I'm alive and well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's 3-1. Yeah. No, it's not possible. It's 3-1. Come on, let's celebrate. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
Dude, that's devastating, dude.
Dude, it was. I still think about it. But honestly, there was so much good that came out of that championship.
Definitely good, dude.
Yeah. I mean, you could just see the overall shift in Cleveland. I mean, even,
the rebuild of the Q.
Yeah. And just going, I don't know, I'm finally seeing, I know when we were younger, I don't know, Cleveland just wasn't good. Cleveland, like, just overall going down, no one wanted to go downtown, really. I mean, there was nothing good down there. But now you see it thriving. Like, people are doing well.
The flats.
It's not that fucking gritty, there's going to be homeless people all up down the street, or, there's crime, Like, I mean, that happens in, like, maybe East Cleveland or, like, a little bit south. But Cleveland as an actual, like, downtown Cleveland city is fucking phenomenal.
Right. I mean, when I was younger, I never even thought of, like, living in Cleveland. But now it's like, I would love to live in Cleveland. Like,
a lot of people... Yeah, like a lot. I mean, exactly. A lot of people come. I remember I was sitting out there one time, and dude's like, "Oh yeah, I came to visit Cleveland." And I'm like, "Oh really?" He's like, "What's cool down here?" I'm like, "Oh shit, no one ever asked me that before." But it's turning into and that had a major effect. I'm sure even if you look at, I don't know if your article went to like the business aspect of it, but I'm sure businesses have exponentially increased in business and have been doing better.
I tackle and I encourage anyone who's interested in that sort of thing to look at the article because it really.
What's it called?
It's The Lost City of Cleveland.
Okay.
So it's kind of like So I wanted to like what Cleveland could have transformed into because Cleveland was a booming city back in the day.
It was a main hub.
Yeah, it was a main city.
Main port.
So I felt like we were getting like cities like Boston is more like of a modern take for us. Like have teams that have won championships and now they're like thriving as a whole as a city. Cleveland was going to that point, but obviously got cut a little bit short.
Yeah.
And
I always say sports determine like the city.
It really does. No, yeah. Bro, if the Browns won a Super Bowl, this
city would be on fire.
Well, this
city would be on fire, man.
I think that would actually be the most way crazier than any NBA.
I mean, so easily the Browns winning is like.
I think that would.
Well, so we kind of got to look at the fans. Like, it's so many fans that's lingering around that's older people that got to see like Jim Brown like win that like championship that I feel like they never let go. Like these 80-year-olds and these 90-year-olds, they're like it can happen again. I saw it. I saw it.
Like I swear I saw it.
It happen. Okay, we had a bad year. We had a bad 30. Okay, that's cool. Bad 30 years, but I'm telling you, it can happen again.
I know exactly what they're.
And I think those people like would lose their mind. I'm talking about like wheelchair, like calling their grandkids like I have to go downtown, like. Just because they saw it. Like, don't get me wrong, we would appreciate it, but if you actually seen the Cleveland championship and then get to see like one more in your lifetime, it's a whole different type of appreciation.
I just couldn't even imagine like
whole different type of appreciation.
Yeah, that I don't know, even being like tailgating that day and everyone's turn and then you guys win. Well, I mean, even going to the Super Bowl would be crazy. Like, I mean, that tailgate would be insane.
Yeah.
It would be stupid.
Yeah, it would be so crazy, man.
And I don't even. They probably would have to shut. You
saw what they did after the Cavs won, man. Imagine that times 2.
Dude, I would say it's like times. I don't know. I feel like people would travel like really far.
Bro, I went to that parade though. And you didn't get to go?
No.
It was an experience.
The parade was crazy.
It was crazy. It was an experience. I saw one dude came limping out, his arm was cut. And you know those like Lake Tran like bus stops that are made of glass?
Yeah.
This dude stood on top of the bus stop and fell through the glass.
Dude.
People are savage.
And then people were like, obviously you've seen the pictures of like the parking garages and people are like holding on like they're just to get a better look. Oh, it's so crazy.
Dude, I just remember like seeing like J.R. Smith, like MGK, like it was super dope. But the thing is, so I wasn't here for the winning game, and I just think like the Healthline picture is the most epic thing to me because it's like I'm just picturing like everybody just going in the middle of the street, stopping the Healthline, and basically saying we're about to climb on top of it.
Yeah.
And the police officer just pointing. And he's like,
he's like, go ahead.
That's what I mean, man.
That's what I mean.
The picture on the Healthline, you probably seen it, but you probably didn't understand how it was created.
Yeah.
So like the bus is supposed to just like move through traffic. Everybody was just like, nah, bro. Like everybody collectively just came in the street was like, nah, and he just couldn't do nothing about it, and they just climbed on top of it. I just feel like that's so epic. Like,
well, I mean, it goes back to what I was saying, man. Sports is the ultimate unifier, man. Like in a world that we see right now with tensions being so high with like police brutality and race wars and stuff like that. You see something as simple as an NBA championship that's able to bring a whole city of like the diverse people, and they're all towards one. They're all one fan base in that moment. I mean, there's nothing like it. And it's the most motivating thing for me. Like, and the one thing that I wanted to do, like, for my whole life is, get people to see that. Like, it's the number one unifier, man. Like,
I think that's really powerful with the idea, because most people want to go, like, oh, I want to go somewhere else and, work for ESPN, or I want to, get out of here. Mm-hmm. I think it's powerful to have that passion and be from the city and really be about Cleveland sports, you know? Because you don't see that. People are like, oh, Cleveland fucking sucks. I want to go to, we'll go to ESPN LA or something, get that job where the money is or something,
Cleveland's got the most passionate fans, man.
Absolutely. And kudos to you, though, for realizing off the jump how important branding is.
Yeah.
And having a buddy that is putting in the work to brand your content, because that's something people don't think about. And that is I would think that's above your content almost, an idea of like, you build that brand, people will naturally come. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you have some half-assed logo, like, just pay somebody, man. Just pay. People are so afraid to invest in it. Like, pay somebody $200 to make you a damn-ass good logo.
Right.
I don't know if that was a word, damn-ass.
Damn-ass good logo.
Damn-ass good logo.
I totally 100% agree. we talked about this earlier, even before the podcast. It was, there's a bunch of different podcasts out there. Even you guys probably, there's a bunch of different podcasts like yours, like to an extent. Yeah. But if you're not branding yourself in the right way, man, like if you're not like showing that you're serious about your work, if you're kind of throwing stuff like you're tweeting out your articles one tweet at a time or something like that, and it just doesn't look visibly pleasing. Yeah, you're not going to get anyone. That's one thing that Aesthetics. I think a lot of people, I have people in my DMs like asking me if I was hiring and stuff like that, because that's how professional like of a job that Travis did. Like people were like, "Hey, do you have this position open for your social media team?" I was like, man, this is just me and a couple other people. I was like, when I start making a little bit of start making profit, and I start to take off of this, I'll keep you in mind. But for now, I don't got money to pay. I'm broke.
Right.
So I get it.
You're spending money making these.
Exactly.
Yeah. People don't understand. But it's cool. Maybe get that LLC, hire an intern.
I hire a plethora of interns. Just
Bro, I worked for this one company, and I don't know if he's listening right now, but I worked for this one company, right? And he literally thrived off interns.
Did he?
That's all he had. Everybody was an intern. Mm-hmm. And but he had a good brand, right? To where it was like, okay, it's like, okay, this guy must be legit. He must be making some kind of money.
Right.
And then maybe not everyone's interns. But then you realize down the line, it's like, dude, this guy's making money off of all of us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gets crazy.
But that's it. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of foul, but...
It's foul.
But, I mean, he was a nice guy, at least I think. I don't know the
You don't really know.
I never met him in person. I just was a video intern.
The college intern thing,
it's on your resume, I guess.
It's kind of iffy because it's like, at the end of the day, the college students, they need the internship. Yeah. But
literally, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I could have an intern right now. I have my LLCs, and it could be an official internship. And I mean, it might be beneficial to somebody because then they.
I'm saying the college students are getting what they want out of it.
Right? Yeah, because they're getting, but you gotta look at the ethics part. There's the thing of ethics where it's like, I mean, if you're just gonna get all this free work, what's I don't know, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do to make a living. But yeah, kudos to the branding. You have a great brand. You have a great aesthetic. I'm a sucker for the vinyl look. He just has a vinyl. He has
the old school way. I mean, he does good work, man. I mean, PK Design. I'm gonna give him a shot. It's an advertising.
You know what? I'll put him in the description.
Do it. I mean, that was the best thing about working with my best friend. We work on each other. So he shouted me out on that collab. I shout him out every opportunity that I get. It just works out for both of us, and we love to see each other succeed. So.
Yeah, I'd like to have him on the podcast for sure.
Do it. I was gonna bring him here actually. I didn't know if he had a fourth mic because we were actually supposed to watch the Browns game.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, shit. What? Oh, it's on right now, isn't it?
Is it?
Wait, 8:30 or 8?
I don't know.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, I mean it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I expected to be here. I made the plans to be here.
Yeah, I really liked his rebranding though of the Cavs. I think something. I could see him doing that kind of stuff, obviously he does that kind of stuff, but just working for a team, and you know how cool that would be.
Oh yeah,
to have something you designed on everything.
Yep,
that would be
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible.
Yeah, he. I mean, he really. I mean, we obviously collabed on it. He did some of his best work there, if I'm being honest. He really he ran with all the ideas that I gave him, with the colorway and stuff like that. We really did a good job. He's really into throwbacks right now. So what we did was we incorporated, I came up with the idea of incorporating, something from each. So you'll see in the jerseys, you'll see the design.
It's like a clean
it's like a throwback modern look. So, I mean, the baby bluish, to darker blue is something that I liked when the Cavs had LeBron back in 2006, they had those away jerseys. I don't know if you remember them. They were blue, but they had gold lettering. So I was like, I really like these jerseys. And he was like, yeah, that colorway is sick. So we kind of took that, we ran with it. But yeah, amazing work by him. And the thing that I was most impressed about is like, you see NBA teams, how they had the silhouette. Like, how we had the silhouette when LeBron was still here. Yeah. But it was like black silhouette. And you didn't really get the feel of like the city. Like, you didn't see the Rock Hall and everything. He pulled out a skyline, and you'll see it in his court design. It's the thing that I'm most impressed with is he put, the little details. He put the red skyline, and then he put the yellow skyline. And you would think that wouldn't work on a court, but he faded it into the court. And it's just so much different, so much more diverse than any other team in the league that it's like, I can see this being an NBA court, and I can see this being like one of the best NBA courts. Just off of like little things like that, man. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's kind of your end goal with the podcast?
I'm just trying to expand where I can, man. I'm trying to implement new things that I think will be beneficial. I want to make it into a complete brand eventually. That's the end goal. And, make it a legit business and kind of like a Barstool type of thing. That would be like my end goal type of deal.
But a little more professional, maybe?
A little more. I mean, I love what Barstool does.
I do too, yeah. No, they're good at branding.
Yeah, they're good. I love their shows. I love Part of My Take. I get a lot of my motivation from them doing what they do, because it's just like kind of like
you ever thought of applying
free, huh?
You ever thought of applying there?
I did, actually. After, I just got into listening to them. Obviously, a lot. I've known about Barstool for a long time, obviously, but I followed them, but I never listened to their podcast all that much, and I just started listening to Part of My Take. And the way that Big Cat and PMT do that show, it's exactly how I want to do it. Laid back, loose. They say how they feel. They're very knowledgeable guys. It's almost like you're talking with your friends, or you're bullshitting with your friends.
I mean, that's what's the beauty of podcasting.
Yeah, they do a great job. They make it fun. They cover, and the thing that I'm most, that's why I got into all this, is media nowadays is so skewed towards one path. It's so skewed towards like the Golden State Warriors of the world, or they stay on one particular topic. That show covers all platforms, all games. They take their time to talk about each game, players that they like from each team. They really don't leave anyone in the dust, and I think that's what sports are missing nowadays, is that correct media coverage. So
I think sports and everything else.
Yep.
That's why I think podcasts are the next gen.
Yep.
They're important, man.
You don't have rules. I mean, you have a news for. Well, okay, part of my spit there.
You're good.
But I love my job, and I love everything about it. But like at the end of the day, are they being authentic?
Right.
Are they saying what they actually feel?
It's hard in news. You know what I mean? Like, you're in a newsroom. Like,
yeah, but it's and podcasting, you're like, damn, that dude is fucking whack. Okay, on to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas as news are like, oh, how cute. It's like watered down, and our generation doesn't like that, and that's. Right. That's what I don't think these news people
understand.
They don't.
And that's that's the one thing that that I have been motivated by to begin this whole thing is, you asked me that question in Stirfry about Stephen A. and Sharp. To be honest, I don't really like either of them as it stands, just because they're by their networks, by where they think they're getting their ratings, they're going to make those hot takes. But in reality, all those viewers are coming from people who actually like the hot takes. And the reason why they're struggling is because the people that actually watch for the purity of sport are like, we're not doing this. We're not listening to LeVar Ball hop on ESPN every 2 days and give us a hot take. Or we're not, listening to the politics of it all and stuff like that.
It's old.
It just goes everywhere except for the direction of sports. And that's where we need to get back onto. So,
wow. Yeah. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, everything is fucking like that, dude, on TV, right? It's not even about the core thing that they first were created for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like what was the first news channel was created to give news.
Yeah.
The first sports channel was created to give information about sports.
Yeah.
And we as a society had let it get blindsided by this idea of reality TV.
Right. Hate reality TV, man.
But that's what sells. So it's like
exactly.
You have Stephen A. was probably never like that. He was probably, I love sports. I'm obsessed with sports. I want to give like the real news, right?
Right.
But then it meets these people that hold all the money, and we need viewers. Then he's coming up. He's like, the only way I'm going to get to where I want to be and to make the money I want to be and to have the platform I want is to bust through all that shit and just be wild and be crazy. Be like, give them what they want.
Right.
You know, do I want to be the best and I'll be the most paid? And do I want to do this? And then this is what I have to do. I have to, hot take, or, I have to say things I don't want to say.
Yep.
And that is why TV is fading away.
Yeah.
At the end of the
100%.
day. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at that note, that is a perfect spot to kind of like wrap up this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a big thank you. This is our 50th episode.
Super dope.
Hey.
Yes, we made it to 50, man.
I just want to say for, all your fans, everything, this idea is really cool because I know like a lot of people in your hometown, you don't know what, what their career is going to take them. It's important to have, places like this where they can just express their vision for what their future is going to look like. And it's just, a cool platform just to sit and talk about like, someone who cares, like people who care, or like, what are you doing? Like, what made you do this? So I think for me, it was just an honor to be on the show. It was a great conversation. You guys are cool dudes.
I say, man, that's probably the greatest compliment we've ever received. That's awesome. That's why we do it,
Yeah.
I think Will can agree. Like when we do this every Thursday at 7 p.m. and we do it because of that. I like want to meet people. I want to know their story.
Right.
And it at the end of the day we network too.
Right.
It's like everyone benefits from this. People get to see you. We make you content. We have no interest in money.
Right.
We have no interest in like, I want to make money. You have to pay me to do this, or where's all my sponsors at? I mean, I would appreciate sponsors. We have had one.
You've had one?
Yeah, we made our money back on some stuff. Yeah, so that's good.
You're working your way up, man.
Yeah, but we do this because we genuinely love meeting new people and hearing their story.
Yeah,
I think it is important.
Yeah,
everyone needs to be heard.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of interesting people in this city.
Right. I mean, if I'm being honest, I didn't have a lot of people that, talk to me about this journey, like, and stuff like that. It's important for me because of everything that I went through. We talked about, baseball and stuff like that. Like, a big reason for that was because of, my mental health and shit like that. So, I mean, having it, like, blossom into something that I can talk about and, like, give other people some motivation. Like, it was just a really cool platform to me get on here and talk about it. So, yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you telling us all your pretty much your whole life story.
Yeah. Yeah. Telling you, I'm a very talkative person, man. I'll keep you...
This was an epic 50th. This was probably one of my favorite episodes, for sure.
Really? I appreciate that. Oh.
We don't say it to everyone either.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm going to, like, text all your former guests.
Hey, dude,
I'm going to text Scale and be like, yeah, I got you, man.
I probably did say it to him. No, no, he was great. He's a great guy. But just give the audience your information, like all your...
go follow us at, you can look up our website at JCSportsCo.com. That's JCSportsCo.com. I got a bunch of my articles up there. I just released a new podcast on the week 1 recap, which we're about to start week 2. Okay. But I just released that. A lot of stuff in the making for us. I'm going to start getting into video as the Stirfry is doing right now. Going to be introducing some merch, so stay tuned for that. And we're getting our studio all lined up. So we actually have a couple of big plans in the making. Go follow us at our Twitter page at official JC Sport. and official JC Sports on Instagram, and you can also follow our page on Facebook. But yeah, go check us out, guys.
Go check them out.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Yeah,
That's great. I really like your website.
thank you.
So
Yeah, again, go.
Yeah, but you have, but I mean, just even beyond that, it's just well organized. It's you have it's simple.
Very
to
easy
use.
to find things.
Yeah,
So.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's the key, really.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you all for listening and watching. It's your boy Chef T.
I'm with a Spacekid.
And I'm Justin Cooper.
Yes, sir. So see you next week. Keep it real, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening and joining us on another episode of the Stirfry. All the music was created by Steve Ozell. Check him out on all streaming services at Stevo Music, spelled ST3V30 Music. Also, if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. We'd greatly appreciate it. And see you next Tuesday when we talk with Cam DeVell. He's a photographer and videographer. He talks about his journey into finding what career path will fit him and how he developed his drive to film something every day. I love to see the passion, so see you next week, y'all.